Welcome back, everybody. Here we are today at number 20. Please keep watching and sharing. It's getting bigger and bigger. We just never know whose life it could save today. Too many of our friends and loved ones have died because they don't feel like they matter. Help me remind them that they all matter. We all do. So, this woman was another that I couldn't actually tag because not positive enough that the Facebook was her, or it's possible that she's passed away too. But she was my English teacher in 10th grade, the second time after I went back to public school from doing the year of homeschool. And she was seriously one of the best teachers I've ever had. She knew how to take literature and turn it into art. How to get us excited to talk about it. How to have different opinions and perspectives on it. And that each one was right so long as you could explain why. I don't know was the only unacceptable answer in her classroom. Favorite memories was when we did Tragedy of Julius Caesar. She would choose a different set of random students each day, and she'd have us read out the parts of each character in the play. And she'd give us Jolly Ranchers if we were willing to do our reading in the voice of the character. And it was fantastic. And for the test of the lesson, she had us recite a stanza from the play aloud, and she was going to grade us on our deliverance of the speech. You know, like how many lines we missed and such, our presence. And I had wanted to do a different section of the play than what she had assigned. I wanted to do Mark Antony's soliloquy when he is given his personal speech right after the rest of the conspirators leave the room when they murder Caesar. She was thrilled by the idea. And when test day came, she threw us a curveball. She would award anyone who was willing to stand upon her desk as a stage and perform their speech. She'd give them a full candy bar. Now, I could have cared less about the candy bar, but she challenged me. I already knew that I knew my speech and had the voice flawless by every line, because I had been excited to study for this test in the first place. But was I brave enough? Could I actually get up there and do it? And not feel exposed, retarded, and stupid for doing it? I was so scared, but I was so tempted, because what if for just that moment, I could nail it? I decided it was worth it to give it a shot. Even just for the sake of knowing that for me, myself, I tried. And I did fucking nail it. She, at the beginning of it, allowed me to have another student come up front and lay on the floor as Caesar's dead body so that I could deliver my speech. And I got up on her desk, and I hit every line. Didn't forget a single one. And I hit all the right levels of emotion at all the right moments, and used the fear of being in front of all these people doing this to trigger tears at just the right moments. And when I finished, I literally got a standing ovation from the whole class. Sure, it was only 30 people, but it was one of the most incredible moments that I've ever experienced. Just one small moment where a large group of people were able to appreciate that I fucking nailed that. But as awesome and powerful as that moment was, it was not the moment that this woman saved my life. That day came when, in the middle of an emotional downswing, I had zoned out in her class and refused to pay attention to her, even when I was scolded, because I was buried in my drawings, and I was drawing scary things that I was not intending to share with the world. Things I didn't want to be asked questions about. Towards the end of class, she finally, got irritated and come over to find out what had me so distracted. Clearly unprepared for what she saw before I could tuck it away. And she didn't yell at me. She didn't freak out. She just looked at me. And she just kind of tapped the desk and said, "Stay after class for a second." And I panicked, but I did. And she didn't ask me any questions. All she said was that she understood what it was like to be struggling, to feel alone. She reached out to me to let me know that someone was willing to listen. Just listen if I needed it. She was the first soul to ever see those kinds of images that I had been drawing. And she didn't react poorly. Didn't force me to say anything. She just gave me a shoulder. Someone who would be there. A lifeline if I was willing to reach for it. In just a few gently spoken and unspoken moments, this woman knew nothing of who I was outside of her classroom. But she let me know that I was important, that she could see something in me that was worth fighting for, worth stepping in to fight for. And that is so priceless. An unexpected hand reaching through the weightless water that seems to drown me from the inside out. I never did end up telling her much about my life outside. In the end, even her offer wasn't quite enough to convince me to trust her with my deepest, darkest. But I would run away to her room sometimes, just to talk about books and movies and music and culture and how they all intertwined. I often shared my writings and my poems with her, and she always tried to get me to publish them, but in the end they're just so deeply personal, and most people that read them I feel like just don't get it and can't feel the gut punch moment that I always try for as an artist. So with my poetry, it often feels like sharing it is kind of a very personal waste of my time, because most can't understand my depth, and the ones that do really feel it when I do. But I'm sidetracking. This woman is the one that taught me how to look for that opening, that emotional gut punch in my art. All of it, but especially in writing. Writing and how we speak and use our words, it's the absolute best way to make another person feel something. To be able to taste it and smell it and to ache and to rejoice. If you can describe how emotion feels properly, you can make another person feel it inside them, where they remember it, where if they did feel it, it somehow changed them for a moment, molded a piece of them. So, Mrs. Fairchild, episode 20 is for you. Because you were the most fantastic teacher I knew. And you taught me well beyond what the curriculum demanded. And I adore you for it, because you kept me interested in it. How to use it properly. Thank you for noticing the different kid and appealing to me in it. For challenging me and wanting to see me succeed at those challenges. To this day, I still tell people you are one of the best teachers I've ever known. And that just by putting in that little bit of extra time and effort, you literally saved my life. In just that one moment of reaching out emotionally. I am alive today and have the knowledge of words to be able to effectively be doing this project because of you. If you are still with us, I pray that somehow you get to see this, because you mattered so much. You will always matter. Episode 20, Marie.